Art and what it means to me is a personal question as far as that goes. But in general, what I wish art could be for the public, for everybody basically, is something that is easily accessible, something that you can connect with personally or emotionally, maybe even something that strikes your idea or mind.
So Ray's work Ray as a person is not only inspiration to many people, his artwork is an inspiration. He puts his heart and soul into whatever he does, and you can just feel the love when you're around him and he's painting.
I've seen him go through a lot of phases. There was this whole phase when you were doing portraiture because you were trying to make some money. And then there was sort of that dark phase you went into when you were goth. That work was pretty dark. But now his work is really bright. There's a lot more light. You know, there's brightness to it, and there's hope in it.
What really inspires me is to see that glimmer in somebody's eye and you know that they have something good. You know, something that nobody else can have because they're making it. It's coming from their head. You know, so when you see it in another individual, you get goosebumps. I mean, you feel strongly encouraged and moved because somebody else has the power to move you using lines and pencils and colors, you know, which is the bottom line of everything we see around us. It usually starts from a spark, and that is the idea that we're gonna make a world a better place, you know, by working together. In life, we eat from the dish that we are served. So I had to deal with it one way or another. I mean, it could be from anywhere from, you know, you could be depressed one day or be very happy the next, but the ultimate goal was to get over whatever obstacles I had in my way. And one way that I felt I would be comfortable with dealing with this situation is by accepting it, but also telling others about it the best way I could. So I started to promote my life story at an early age. My mother passed away when I was really young, and my father was trying to raise me on his own during this communist fall and things like that. And there wasn't an easy way of doing it, so he had to look for other forms of income, which may or may not be illegal. Anyways, it was illegal and he got caught and he was sentenced to jail. Now while this was going on, I was put in an orphanage, and I spent 4 years of my life there, from the time when I was 6 till I was about 10. That being said, I lived in an orphanage for 4 years where I not only was learning how to be an artist, because there was one way that you can escape from all this turmoil around you, and that would be inside your head. When I was 8, tragedy struck me, and I ended up getting electrocuted in the orphanage, which spent the next 4 months of my life in a hospital, bedridden basically, because the electric, you know, current was so strong it burned my skin and my hands to a point where they had to amputate them. So growing up in an orphanage with this new disability, with family that is nowhere to be found, you know, I developed a form of release, and that was artistic. I was no longer able to do everything with my hands as easily as everybody else, but I was able to see it. So in seeing, I was able to represent it. And in a way, it helped me deal with my new trauma, you know. So I spent years basically drawing and sketching and, you know, getting involved in this form of life. And it was a beautiful journey, especially after I had this opportunity to come to America. I can't say that I was always a happy camper, you know. I always had moments where I didn't feel comfortable or I wanted to scream at everybody because it was just, you know, in the circumstance. But Joy and Angie allowed me to look within myself and to heal my heart before I was able to look at others and try to help them.
I'm Joanna Angie, and I met Ray Dennis roughly 2008. Yeah. A guy that worked here in the building at the Tri-Main Center, John, brought Ray up when he was quite a bit younger and said, this kid had talent. That's when he told me that you had no hands. And I was like, you got to be kidding, right? You want me to work with this kid? He has no hands. Right. Do you think I'm going to work with an artist with no hands? How's that going to happen, John? Yeah. You know, and John was like, Joanna, just come on, give it a try. Yeah. So he brought you up. I looked at him and I was like, wow, okay. And I looked at him and I threw a paint tube, some pencils and some paintbrushes on the counter, and I said, open the paint tube. I said, we can't give you any charity here. And then Ray just kind of like did everything perfectly. Opened the tube with his teeth. You know, you did. You opened the tube with your teeth, and then you. Trying to be hardcore. Yeah, and then you were like, I don't care. Picked up the paintbrush and the pencil and did the drawings and the paintings that I wanted, and you know, just did some quick sketching. So I knew you could do it, and I knew you could independently do it.
As a kid, I always drew, and I was like, well, I want to be an artist. It's going to be my goal, no matter what I do, that my first and only priority would be to create art, to create something that I would be happy with to show others, because it's not only my own form of expression and what I see, a way for me to connect with others who appreciate art and know what it takes to create something that may or may not be appealing. I want to teach people the best way I possibly can to follow their dreams, to be motivated, to help others when they can, and to pay it forward when they have to.
I mean, it's incredible. He's just an incredible young man. And when I tell the story that he's my child without hands, it's like, oh, come on, and he did this. And absolutely. And when I bring up that he has no hands, it's not because that's such an important part, but because he does have hands. He does, you know, it's like, you can say that, but he does have hands.